I wholeheartedly don't believe that this was a fair investigation, but then again, who's making them accountable?
Tony Smith was hired to observe the investigation into the Santina Rayo arrest. He says there were several problems with the investigation, including how the statements from the two police officers were obtained. He says Pat Kern, the former acting director of SiRT, told him the statements were gathered by the SiRT investigators.
But I found out that it's the HRP statements that they got from the police officers. It doesn't make sense. There's a conflict of interest throughout all this.
Smith says when the COVID pandemic hit, he was restricted from accessing the file. During that time, SiRT's permanent director, Felix Cacchione, returned to work. That's when Smith says things got worse.
As far as Felix coming back, I don't think that he had any intentions of me actually completing the work that was done, and the action speaks louder than words.
In the final report, Cacchione wrote that, quote, given the aggressiveness of the female, the actions of the officers in this matter were reasonable. Smith also says an allegation of racism by one of the officers was ignored.
If that may have triggered something, if somebody has a racist mind about how dare you or whatever, it could easily be sparked. Who knows? But the question was never asked.
In an email, a spokesperson for the Premier said the Premier was too busy to respond to Smith's concerns and directed WTV to the Justice Department. As for Smith, he says he thinks SiRT needs an investigation of its own.
What I think should happen is that this organization should be reviewed and looked at and see if it's really meeting the needs of the community. And from what I've seen, no. From what I've seen, they can do whatever they want.
Matthew Byard, WTV News, Halifax.